So there seems to be a little bit of confusion between atoms, elements, molecules, compounds, and mixtures, and so on. So this was even a little bit difficult for me. I had to do a lot of research and even talk to some of my science buddies to make sure I really understood. So let's try to figure this out and make it more simple. So we've already talked a little bit about atoms and elements in our A video. So make sure that you pause and you watch that first. Even if you've already seen it, I think it's really important that you know what that is before we move forward. I think it will really help. So let's say that this is one atom of oxygen. Now oxygen, like a lot of other elements on the periodic table, doesn't like to be found alone. Typically in nature it is found connected to another atom. We can find oxygen attached to another oxygen atom. Now this is O2. This is the oxygen that we breathe. And this is an element. It is two atoms of the same type, and this is how oxygen is naturally found in nature, the most simple form that it is found. So an element is probably the most confusing because it can have two separate definitions. Now you can talk about an element when it has multiple atoms, but they're the same type, like O2, O3, S8. Yes, octasulfur is a real chemical and it is often used in medicines. But element can also refer to the most simple form that these atoms are found in nature. So O2, Cl2, those are considered the element. So that's where you get the periodic table of elements. But things like iron, that is found just one atom at a time. So that is the most simple form, and iron is the element, even though it's one atom. So there are two separate definitions. Now O2 actually fits both definitions because it is the most simplest form found in nature, but there's also more than one atom of the same type. So something like the S8, the octasulfur, it is an element as in that there are multiple atoms of the same type, but that is not the most simple way that it is found in nature. Now once you start mixing different types of atoms, then you get a compound. Now let's look at water, for example. It has two hydrogen atoms connected to one oxygen atom. So you have two hydrogen, one oxygen. This is dihydrogen monoxide, in case you ever hear that. It's water. So H2O is water, and it is a compound because you have three different atoms, but they are different types of atoms. You have hydrogen and oxygen. So this is a compound and not an element. And this is not the most simple form you'll find hydrogen or oxygen. So it's not an element in that definition either. This is a compound. Now we can also talk about sodium chloride. This is the table salt, the salt that we use to make our food taste better. It's a atom, one atom of sodium and one atom of chloride, and they are bonded together. So these are two completely different types of atoms, right? Sodium chloride. So this is a compound. Now comparing compounds to elements. Compounds have different atoms, like the sodium chloride. But elements have the same type of atoms, like this O2. And a molecule just means it has more than one atom. So both O2 and sodium chloride and water, these are all molecules. Molecules can be an element or a compound. So molecules have multiple atoms, elements having the same types and compounds having different types. So let's test ourselves to make sure that we really understand. So I want you to guess if this is a molecule, atom, element, or compound, or it could be two of the answers. So let's start with O3. There are three oxygens. So what is this? So this is a molecule because it has more than one atom, and it's an element because they're all the same type of atoms. Now let's talk about water. H2O. So this is a molecule because there's more than one atom, and it's a compound because it has different types of atoms. Good job. Now let's say that this is iron. What is it? That's right, this is an atom. It's just one atom of iron. But this is also an element since it is the simplest form that iron is found in nature, just one atom. Oxygen. So yes, this is one atom of oxygen. But is this an element? No, for both definitions, this is not an element. So it is not multiple atoms, and this is not the simplest form that oxygen is found in nature. Okay, I think you guys got it. If not, feel free to keep watching this over and over again. Do some research, feel free to call or contact me with any questions, because next we will be talking about mixtures. So where molecules are chemically bonded together, mixtures are not. And I hope that you guys are staying happy and healthy. See you next time. Bye.